Well, Nuremburg was obviously the high point for the team. Red Bull's first double points of the season helped us jump in front of Toyota in the Constructors' Championship, and Williams are within sight. Obviously very important to try and improve on the 7th place that we finished in the Constructors' Championship for the last few years. It came in a race which obviously with wet conditions, then it calls for an unpredictable result. I think that the sort of pace of the various teams is pretty much set as we go into the back half of the season. In that McLaren and Ferrari, of course, are always battling for the victories. BMW, seem to be pretty much the third team. And then it's the mix of the rest of us, which is making it the interesting challenge. Well, the weekend in Nürburgring called the question again about safety and wet conditions and just how a safety car should be brought out. I believe there'll be pretty much a split opinion if you went through the media that follow Formula One. You'd have those who give it, well, that's part and parcel of Formula One and the races shouldn't be stopped and keeping out the barriers is part of the challenge that was there for decades before. And the other group that will obviously be a bit more aligned with the drivers, which is when you only have 22 cars starting a Grand Prix, if you end up losing more than half them into the barrier, then all the people who've paid to sit at the races and watching it around the world aren't seeing much racing because the cars aren't out there on the track. As you saw in Nürburgring, when you have a certain amount of standing water, then you're just a passenger. One of the things that we're aware of in the car and technically the engineers are aware of, which maybe the public don't see, but you have these step floors below the car and you have a wooden plank, which is what rubs on the ground. Well, at a certain speed, that plank just seals with the water, and if you hit a river, it acts like a rudder. So the fact that you have a steering wheel and 4 wheels means nothing because the car just floats on this plank and it turns depending on which angle you hit that river. Well, I wasn't at all frustrated that Mark got the podium and I didn't, because given my starting position in 20th, then under normal conditions probably would have finished about 13th or 14th. So to get points out of a weekend like that, I'm very happy with. I'm not jealous of other people's success. Of course, you want to win, and that's quite clear. But I'm comfortable with the job that I'm doing within the team, and on that weekend, it was Mark who had the better starting position and drove well and brought the points home. I think this year has been a transitional year for a number of drivers, and that's given Lewis the opportunity to build on his Bridgestone experience from GP2, build on the knowledge he has of McLaren. Although he's new to Formula One, he's not new to the setup and organisation, so it's as close to a family as you're going to get. His two main competitors in Kimi and Fernando have both changed teams and had to adapt to those teams and the tyres and what have you. All of that said, the three of them are world-class drivers, and you wouldn't be upset if you pulled any one of them as your driver for any team you were starting in Formula One. So I don't think it's really a question of which one of them's better. And if Kimi won the title this year, which I think is an outside chance, I don't think it means he's better than Lewis or better than Fernando. I think it's going to come down to Fernando or Lewis will be the champion, and it will be an amazing story if Lewis is to do it in his first season. And it's almost like a story that, how do you do a sequel to that? It's very difficult. So in many ways, it can only go downhill from there. But it would cement, if he hasn't cemented already, his name, fame, and fortune in terms of Formula One, then a world title would do that.